Hello, we are going to talk about VE Day and the 75th anniversary on the 8th of May. Hugo is going to tell about his grandparents who were alive during the first VE Day. Hugo, do you know what VE means?
VE stands for Victory in Europe.
That's right, thank you. Now I'm going to ask you a few questions about your Oma, your Dutch grandma, and your English granddad about their time during the war. And we're also going to show some relevant pictures. Hugo, could you please tell me a bit more about what happened to your Oma, your Dutch grandma, in September 1944 in Arnhem in Holland?
She lived through an attack set up by the Allied forces called Operation Market Garden.
And what happened during Market Garden?
The Allied forces parachuted behind the German lines to continue their way through Europe to Berlin.
What did your grandma exactly do?
She nursed the sick and wounded soldiers in her cellar. However, this was a very scary thing to do, as her house was also occupied by German soldiers.
And what did you do last September?
I went to Arnhem in Holland to celebrate the 75-year anniversary of Market Garden.
And what did you see there?
We saw soldiers parachute out of planes to commemorate what the English and American soldiers did.
And did you do anything special while
Yes.
you were there?
My sister and I lit a candle for the deceased soldiers.
Great. Your granddad also lived through the war. Could you tell a little bit of his story?
So he had to flee from Berlin, Germany in June 1939.
Why?
Because he was classified a Jew.
And why was he classified as Jewish?
Because his father was classified as Jewish, as you can see from this passport.
Yeah, we have photos from your great-grandparents' passports. Can you explain what we're looking at?
So we are looking at their passports. As you can see from my granddad's father's passport, there is a very distinctive red J. This means Jew.
And your great-grandmother's passport?
There isn't a red distinctive sign, so this means that she is not a Jew.
So what did your great-grandparents and grandfather had to do because of this J in their passport?
They had to flee to England.
And how did they do that?
They got a visa from the
British Embassy in Berlin, yeah?
Yes.
What did your great-grandparents and granddad do when they evacuated?
So my great-grandfather, he worked for the English military. He fought in Nigeria and North Africa.
And your granddad?
He had to flee from London in 1941 because of the Blitz. Then he settled in Tunbridge Wells and went to a grammar school called Skinner's.
And what did your Dutch grandma do after the battle?
She lived through a really sad time. This was called the Hunger Winter. In Holland, food was very scarce during this time.
So, what do you think we can learn from these stories?
We can learn that wars might not be good, but it is very important to fight for peace and freedom, not for your own power.
Do you think it's important to celebrate VE Day?
Yes, if we didn't celebrate it, people would forget what it means to be in peace.
Thank you, Hugo.